Hey doing everyone, welcome back. Well, you may have heard that a couple of National Guardsmen from West Virginia were shot in Washington, D.C. today. And as I'm recording this, it's today, the day before Thanksgiving, November 26th. So by the time you'll see this, it'll be yesterday that it happened. But anyway, uh, yeah, a couple National Guardsmen out there, just a couple blocks away from the White House. My understanding is that it was actually an Afghan refugee who shot them. And of course, we need to look at all Afghans now, right? All of them, because one did this. So now we have to blame all Afghans for the actions of one, right? Well, anyway, this guy who did this, he absolutely needs to face the full force of the law, right? I don't care what his motive was. He did it. And he needs to be brought to justice. My understanding is that he was also shot. He's in custody, but he's in the hospital, but also in police custody is my understanding of it. I've heard conflicting information on the guardsmen who were shot. When I first heard this story earlier today, I had the radio playing in my car, and I was listening to a news station, and they were talking about the incident, and then they got a breaking news report that the two guardsmen had been killed, that they had died from their wounds. But I just went over the story right before I turned my camera on, and it seems there's conflicting information on that. It was the governor of West Virginia who reported that they were dead, but he has since walked that back. Basically, well, we don't know. That they've been shot. So, alive or dead, as far as what should happen to the perpetrator, that doesn't matter. All right? Full force of the law. Period. Whatever is the appropriate punishment under the law. And of course, now we've got Hegseth out there talking about putting 500 more National Guardsmen on the streets of D.C., right? So, all right, what were the Guardsmen doing there to begin with, right? Not really much of anything. They're doing police calls. For those of you who don't know what a police call is, basically it's a military thing. I mean, you all get your double arms distance, and you walk down the line, and you pick up trash, right? Area beautification type thing, right? You're picking up trash. And I don't think we need the National Guard on the streets of D.C. to do that. I mean, they weren't helping with law enforcement. Crime was not down because of the National Guard. crime was down because it was already trending down. All right. DC has always been a high crime area. Always has been. But of course, the crime rates ebb and flow. Right? And the rates were down, trending down. So, hey, you know what? Let's bring in the National Guard. Okay, that makes no sense, but okay. So National Guard pretty much doing not much of anything. And that's not to disparage the Guard. I'm saying this particular mission, right? This particular mission has them doing not much of anything. That's just the way it is, I mean, that's the mission they were given. They should have been home in West Virginia, right? Where, I mean, they were pulled away from whatever their full-time job is, whatever their regular job is when they're not wearing the National Guard uniform, right? They were pulled away from that to go pick up trash in Washington, D.C. Some employers, yeah, they'll cover your pay. Some won't. So some of these guardsmen are actually, making less money being activated than, to go pick up trash than they were making back home, right? Then again, it's West Virginia, which is not a high-income state, so, some of them are actually making more money as well, right? But, that I'm saying that the National Guard should not have been there. And again, this is not victim blaming. It is not their fault that they were given the mission that they were given, right? That's not their fault. It is the fault of Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth, to a lesser extent the governor of West Virginia for going along with it. Yeah. These two guardsmen they were shot for what? Right? Like I said, I don't think they should have been there, but at the same time, it wasn't their choice to be given that particular mission. So there's no blaming of the Guard members, excuse me. No blaming of them for doing what they were called to do. The blame lies solely on the shooter, right? As far as the attack, right? But at the same time, there was no reason for them to have been there. No reason for them to have been there. And now they want to throw more guardsmen out there, right? 500 more is what we're hearing. Why? Why? the West Virginia National Guard should be in West Virginia, waiting for some kind of a natural disaster to happen or some kind of a state-level emergency where they come in and do their job by taking care of a state emergency, right? Be that a natural disaster or whatever else. They should not be doing police calls on the streets of Washington, D.C. Should not be happening. So instead of calling up more National Guard, how about you just send the ones who are there home? I mean, that's not saying that we need to retreat, of course, because because of what happened, but there is no reason for them to be there to begin with. Crime was already trending down. And they don't have police authority anyway. Anyway, I'll catch you.